it's been the 2 years since I've tattooed you, right?
I think so.
Has it ever, I guess, crossed your mind with tattoo ideas or any, or do you ever see stuff? Because now that you have the tattoos, you're kind of now like, okay, I'm with the life. I'm part of this club, the tattoo club.
Yeah. There's definitely like things that I want tattoos to like commemorate or to represent on me, but like what the actual design is hasn't come to me. But if I'm being totally honest, I don't put like a lot of time into thinking about like designs and doing research and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're busy with other stuff.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
right.
have opportunities to do it, but I have not prioritized it. So, like, I would, like I said, I'd love to have a Star Wars tattoo. I kind of want to see your Star Wars tattoo.
So funny thing is, I have Sith Life on my stomach, like
yeah.
like Thug Life. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's my Tupac homage, you know,
Yeah, that's
my
awesome.
tribute.
I
Yeah,
love that.
and then I have Jedi-less on my knuckles.
Okay.
And I was curious of that too. The times that we would talk, and then after when I would leave or whatever. Like I'm curious, you ever just you're out in the wild and you see a tattoo, and now you have a different appreciation of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mostly, it's like, ooh, that was painful, that spot, or like
Oh yeah.
whatever it
You've been
is.
through the pain. Now you're like, oh yeah, I know that hurts.
Because like this one wasn't bad, but like the second session of the chest one, when we got closer to like
It's a little bit,
yeah, like it's okay. So I started to kind of figure out, okay, when there's less skin in between like you and the bone, like that's maybe when it gets more painful or something like that. And so you can start to kind of figure out what was more painful for other people.
Do you remember if you asked me that? They're like, how does it feel? On a scale, how
Probably, I mean, yeah, in the very beginning.
did you ever like on a scale of 1 to 10? What is this area like or whatever?
Did I ask that?
Did you? I don't know. I think
Probably.
I'm curious how nervous you were.
Yeah, I was definitely a little bit nervous.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Your first tattoo.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we're here on to the next.
Yeah.
Making this a big project.
I think the thing about like if not for you, I don't think I would have ever gotten a tattoo at all.
Why is that?
Just because like you kind of like popped in and made it so convenient.
Oh sure.
And then it kind of felt like do or die. It was like, okay, Omar is gonna.
Now's my chance.
Yeah, Omar's gonna like. He's here now. He lives in California normally.
Yeah.
So I have to make this happen, and so there's a bit of fear there. You know, it's
so
like
that kind of gave you a little bit of a push, huh?
Exactly. And so then I had a very basic idea with the moon and the castle. And people are always so concerned with like a tattoo being meaningful and stuff like that, and like being being permanent on your body.
Yeah.
When I got that first idea like done on my chest, it like just immediately dawned on me that like it doesn't need to be that meaningful. Like it's just a cool thing.
Castlevania. Let's go. Yeah.
Cool vampire.
What's that for?
castle.
Oh, did you?
I like vampires.
Yeah. Did you play any of the Game Boy games?
Honestly, I haven't played that many games. There was one on PC that I played. I watched the animation that came out.
That anime was wild.
I didn't have consoles as a kid, so like wasn't a huge like part of like my upbringing. I love vampires. I love the look. So I wanted it kind of as like an homage just to my appreciation and love of vampires.
That was your Sith life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then your first idea, like you said, it wasn't like a tribute to my mom, tribute to my
like
vampires. Yeah. Because we did transition in a way.
Yeah.
Right? This is where we are now.
Exactly.
Right.
This is definitely like a merger of like something more important, but also my love of fantasy and like in sword and board and knights in shining armor and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the break point where I was like, a lot of people that don't have tattoos and want tattoos are probably just really like thinking about how can I make this be very meaningful so it has like permanence on me.
Yeah.
And that moment I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. And my wife also had a similar kind of conversion moment. We're both kind of like, we just want fun things on our body because it's cool and we like it. It makes us, we enjoy the process and the
because my first tattoo with her was the ice cream cone. Right?
Yeah. And that definitely had a little more significance. It was the first like card I ever made for her and stuff like that.
Cool. It's one of those like real cool tribute to a moment in time where you can remember. You're like, let's immortalize this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
With that said, go and give us your intro, who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing that. Just kind of give everybody a little bit of background.
My name's Scott. I run a YouTube channel called Miniac Miniac is a portmanteau between the word maniac and miniatures, and that represents my channel, which is basically an expression of love for the hobby of miniature painting. Like I love everything about that hobby, the gameplay, the artistry, the techniques, the culture. And so about 10 years ago, or I think we're at the 9.5 mark, I wanted to start making a YouTube channel to make videos about miniature painting. And I loved YouTube as a form of entertainment. I loved making videos, like videography as a hobby. I love painting as a hobby as well. So kind of put them all together into a channel. And at the time, I was a software engineer, and I didn't really like that job. So I was hoping that maybe it could turn into a career at some point. And luckily for me, it did. And so where we are right now is we're in my office in St. Paul, um, where I've been for the last 3.5 years shooting videos. So I moved out of my basement out of Roseville over here to a bigger area for more permanent sets, storing more merchandise to ship it out. Had employees for a while, and then I discovered that I hate managing people. I don't want to do
It's
that.
like Santa's workshop at one point.
Yeah.
You had a full-on crew.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a YouTuber essentially. Miniac
Wild to
Miniatures.
say, huh? I'm a YouTuber.
It is weird, yeah. People
Like,
always ask me what I do for a living, and you always get a kick out of their reaction to being a YouTuber. Yeah,
I think last time we mentioned about like the whole family gathering and
yeah,
how do you make a living? How do you make money?
right.
Like, what do you do? Or
That is
how's work? Yeah, it's like
yeah,
I'm not a software engineer anymore. Yeah.
right. I was just in Wisconsin, which is where I grew up in Southeast Wisconsin, and I was out with my wife getting ice cream, and we just so happened to see a gym teacher from our old high school.
Oh, cool.
And he asked the question, like, what do you do for a living? And I mentioned YouTube, and he just totally did not get it. And he was like, well, good luck doing your little thing. And I was like, oh, it hurts. It hurts.
YouTube, say. Yeah, it's like one of those like underplay it hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough, dude. It's even for my, when I have encountered people and they say, "Oh, you're a tattoo artist," it's like, well, it goes beyond that.
Right,
But
yeah.
in a nutshell, yeah, it's or like if someone in the family will say he's a tattoo artist. They think uh, all the stereotypes or stigmas that comes with it
Yeah.
with that name. But I mean, because nowadays you'll hear my clients will say that they'll be like, "Oh, my son wants to be a YouTuber," and they're young. Which if where we are today, that's a career path. That can be a trade. That's a direction you can definitely you can take that on.
Definitely.
Back then, you would have been like, "Oh, cool, yeah, good luck." It's like
Yeah.
those. What are you gonna do with that, right?
It's becoming more accessible like every day, honestly. Like the price of gear is dropping, the functionality out there online is getting like cheaper and more accessible and easier to use for a lot of people.
Well, I've noticed companies pitch a lot of product as vlogging or YouTube. They'll put that on the description.
Yeah.
Like if you search up, YouTube lighting setup. Now that's a thing. Back then, you just want to look for good, cool, or softbox or light controlled LEDs. And now it's like you're looking for the specific YouTube name.
Yeah.
If it has a name in it, it must be for that.
Yeah. Yeah. The marketing has definitely caught up with like the interest in the industry, I guess you could say. But needless to say, I definitely enjoy this job a lot more than being a software engineer. Yeah.
What was that like, dude? Like I know we talked about a little bit of what your day-to-day life was like, but did you just feel very routine based, monotonous life? Or
it was something that had kind of started to occur to me like while I was in college doing internships. I worked at a couple of companies. I worked at Seagate, and they were all they all just didn't feel right. And I kept telling myself that okay, when I have a full-time job, it'll feel better. And I actually got to work at the company that I wanted to work at. It was a supercomputing company that was once called Cray, but is now purchased by HP. But like I love computers. I built computers for gaming my entire life, and I kind of just figured that a supercomputer company would be like a match made in heaven for me. But obviously, software engineering is a massive field. The product of the supercomputers is a massive product, and so there's all kinds of different things you can do with the programming. And so I got stuck in some kind of like maybe the kind of like a lamer part of the industry. But I think the real death knell of that career was that the responsibilities that I was given as like a junior software engineer they weren't critical or important, and no one relied on them. So I felt like everything that I was doing like wasn't impactful or important, and like whether or not I finished them on time or what quality I finished them to didn't really change like my boss's opinions of what I was doing. And so I kind of felt like, kind of like meaningless a little bit. Like I wasn't giving any real responsibility.
No purpose.
Exactly. So that was kind of the biggest problem for me, I think.
That's life sucking.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so at the same time I was working there, I think for maybe like 2.5 years or 3 years or maybe 2 years, somewhere in that range, there was overlap of me doing the YouTube thing and doing the software engineering thing.
And now, at the time when so you started off the YouTube thing, right? Like the first channel, the first videos, talking about it at work. Did people ever kind of, okay, cool, don't quit your day job kind of mentality? You know what I mean? It's like, like, all right, yeah, we get it, but like, what are you trying to do with this? Or we're you know what I mean? It could be senseless. It could be like a road to nowhere. You know?
There actually wasn't much of that. I think only like 2 of my coworkers really knew what I was doing.
And we're seeing like your videos, right?
Yeah. And they were cool about it. And even when I put in my 2 weeks notice with my boss, like he was ecstatic, and he was like, "This is a really cool opportunity."
Oh, okay.
And he was like, "If you need to ever come back, like just let me know. It's the door is open." And so it was like a really healthy thing, and it was really like heartwarming. So yeah, there wasn't too much like you're a foolish kid or anything like that. Because my wife is pretty risk averse, and so the strategy that we took to be responsible was like when YouTube is able to pay for all of our expenses, then you can quit. And so we kind of tallied up all of our expenses over the course of 6 months and averaged them out. And I had like a goal number that like if I hit that number, then we could quit. And so like the road leading up to that had a nice little pad of money as well. And so if anything did crash and burn,
have a contingency plan.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And so I feel like that's the most important thing, right? Is if you're going to do it, you have to do it responsibly. Unless you're like an individual person and like you don't mind the risk, you kind of really just go for it. But in my case, I had someone else to worry about and take care of, and so
right.
Yeah, that's how I approached it, and it worked out.
Yeah, because in a sense, you're still a providing person. You're still a provider. You're still providing to something.
Absolutely.
Whether you guys are working towards something or like there's like these goals in life.
Yeah.
Does YouTube have, it's not like I want you to speak for everybody or you're representing the YouTube community, but in your own personal life, have you seen slow season in the YouTube, and what's that like?
Yeah, definitely.
How does that translate with YouTube being a content creator 100%? What's that slow season like?
So high season is definitely Christmas, Thanksgiving, October, the end of the year. That's when a lot of companies want to do sponsorship and marketing with you. Some people are like online. It's the winter time. It's not nice to be outside. And then when Christmas is over, ads drop off a lot. Like Google pays you money for AdSense, like kind of the ads you see on YouTube. And you get paid a rate. It's called CPM. And you would think that CPM would be the same between all channels and at all times of the year, but it's not. So in January, it drops off. And then in the summer, viewership drops off a little bit. People are outside. They're, kind of engaging in other activities and watching videos. And so there's not much you can do to like mitigate kind of that just course of nature.
Right.
And so you have to kind of just keep going. YouTube is all about maintaining your relevancy as a channel. And the main way you do that is by putting out content nonstop.
Yeah.
And so that's what you got to do. You kind of got to put your head down and get it done.
It's not like you can have this billboard of, hey guys, the traffic to funnel into your channel. You have to be relevant to the people that are also, it's like an interest thing. It's what kind of content people are consuming that will then bring your channel up into that, right? From what I understand.
That's another thing too, is being aware of what your viewer base wants and is interested in. But what I was referring to is YouTube as a platform will just under prioritize your channel if you're less active. So like
punishment. It really is, right?
Truly, yeah. And so
that's wild.
If you're getting less impressions, if you're getting less viewership, they'll recommend you less. And so like we're in this era, which I think Jack Conte, who's the maker of Patreon, called the death of the subscriber. So everyone thinks that when TikTok came out, TikTok's revolution was 9:16 video that was short, but it wasn't. TikTok's revolution was the For You page.
Okay.
There's no subscription on TikTok, really.
No.
You just look at what the platform recommends to you, right?
You fire it up and it's ready to give you this dopamine dump of what you're consuming.
Yeah.
Like, here's the next, what you've missed in the last 20 minutes that you last checked your phone.
Exactly.
Throws you into this quick advertisement after, which is, in a sense, like, that's the way I would see reels or like shorts.
Absolutely.
It's
yeah,
like,
it's the same thing.
Right.
That's YouTube's response to TikTok and Instagram's response to it as well. But, you know, that's a tough place to be for a content creator, because a lot of people will love a reel, but they won't know the person who made it. And as a YouTuber and anyone who's doing content creation, you rely on people kind of like attaching themselves to you as a brand, because then they watch more content, they might buy some product, they might share your stuff with other people. And so the death of the subscriber was kind of like a big moment for YouTube. Like, suddenly, when you go to youtube.com, you no longer go to the sub tab. You go to the home tab, which is their For You page. And so then it becomes all about the recommendation. Like, are you getting recommended through YouTube's algorithm? And part of that is being on a platform, releasing content regularly, having content that performs well. And so there's definitely
that's a huge learning curve that you had to get into.
Absolutely, right? Yeah.
You and the buddies, like, if you because you obviously have this group of friends that are doing the same thing, and you guys are also sharing off this new revelation of startup, right? So
yeah.
Do you guys kick off ideas or kick off like, hey, I'm at a stomp.
Yep.
How do I jump this fence of like irrelevance? Right? Yeah. That's that. You guys ever like discuss that?
100%. Yeah.
Tips?
We'll get real specific too. Like, I'll be like, hey, here's my synopsis for a video. Here are 3 title options, and here are 2 thumbnail ideas. Like, which one of these do you think resonates the most, or is going to be the best? And like, we'll have discussions about like what's important and things like that. And so we'll get really into the weeds with it, and then we'll also get more high level about like
really in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely got a little Discord server with a bunch of hobby YouTubers, and we talk shop all the time.
Yeah, because in essence, you guys are trying to, what is going to better your own personal business and each other, so that you guys can bank off each other also, because it's kind of kicking the ball around, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because if they're looking at mine, they're also going to eventually at some point should run into my next other like peer and his channel, right? That's similar to us, I think, with shops and stuff. I feel like that's, you see so-and-so's work or the shop, and then you find another guy that's next. It's kind of crazy, the web of finding an artist. Like, imagine, if you have a box set of some sort of miniatures or a project you want somebody, because I wanted to get into your commission stuff, your start, the experience, and the drop off, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Because it was interesting to me, because I kind of compared that in parallel to finding an artist to do your project.
Yeah.
Right. Skin, miniatures, the same kind of like, consider those 2 projects, and then you choosing who you want to paint this army versus, like, it's same as relevance to being like, what artist do you choose to do this tattoo?
Yeah.
There's a lot of tug of war in that, you know what I mean? And also, like, I know people that you mentioned in the beginning, like, it's kind of crazy to found an artist and being like, all right, I'm going to write it out with this artist, or doing the research to find an artist and being overwhelmed with the sea of what artists you find in your area. And then also that might branch you out into the next artist and be like, damn, how do you see that as far as when you first started, right? You had maybe this one idea of, this is what I'm going to do. This is my goal. This is my plan, my business strategy. And then you just kind of like scrapped it, and I like your shirt, by the way. I saw that. Did you do that purposely? I was like, right. I was like, that's spot on there. At one point, did you shift gears and maybe went a different direction? Before we get into like the whole like commission stuff, because that was interesting.
Yeah, you mean with the YouTube channel?
With YouTube, what was your idea? What was your like dream, quote unquote dream? I guess.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was aware of the content that serviced my audience in the very beginning, and I was also, because I watched a lot of YouTube videos, I knew what other bigger verticals we're doing. So like obviously like food or video games are much more developed than miniature painting because it's more niche, right?
Right.
But I was a fan of all of those other things. I watched a lot of videos, and so I kind of knew back in 2010 or whatever it was, 2015, what modern YouTube looked like, and I kind of knew that I could take that blueprint and like kind of modernize the content for mini painting. So that was the first goal. And there's also the side goal of I have this lingering Blood Angels commission that I want to motivate myself to finish. And so I painted them in every single one of those beginning videos until it was done. And that worked really well because it was nice to have a thing I was interested in doing YouTube and pairing it with something that I was kind of dragging my feet on, which is that massive army commission. And so it works, and I was able to get that done. That's a whole different conversation we can go through as well, like programming and and formatting for like essentially YouTube shows and stuff. YouTube as a platform has become a much more format-based thing, where it's like, I watch this channel because they make this particular format of video, and they keep redoing it, but changing it in interesting ways. Like, I don't know if you know the creator Matt Pat. He has a channel called Game Theory, where he that whole channel has one format of video, and they branched off into food theory and like men's style theory, and it's all
hub into different web.
But it's all the same format of video. It's taking an idea that's kind of a goofy theory and extrapolating it to like ridiculous lengths. So it's like, and the way it's edited, the way it's presented, it all kind of looks and feels the same. So YouTube as a platform has become very much so like that, very format heavy. So you're not wanting to like really change the style of video very often because it breeds familiarity. People like familiarity. But yeah, so in the beginning, that was the goal: modernize mini painting content on YouTube, and then it kind of blended into, okay, I can see how making a job out of something that I love is affecting my love of it. And maybe you went through this with tattooing. And so then I started to like kind of really think about, how do I do this for years and years, right? Because I don't want to like do this for 5 years and then quit. And so I started to think about, okay, if I want to enjoy this, I need to be kind of like choosy about what I make videos on.
Right.
And so then I kind of went into this era of, I'm going to make videos about whatever I want that I find interesting within reason. And so that's why on my channel, you'll find things where I'm painting a display model, but also I might design a whole sci-fi building that I cut out of plastic card on a Cricut, and then assemble and paint it. Or I might make a video about game design because I love games and how they're made. So that era of YouTube was like, okay, I'm going to just maintain this love that I have for the hobby as much as humanly possible.
Keeping the passion alive.
Yeah.
Not striving away from it or forgetting why you're in this, right?
Yeah.
It was similar to me when I was painting Tattoo Flash. That was like the apprentice time frame, which I mean, you could be apprentice to learn and then continue to paint throughout your whole tattoo career and just be like a day-to-day painter.
Yeah.
But I seemed like as life got busy, I started to stray away from it, where now I go home and I can't paint Flash. I feel like I can't, because it's like I'm doing this all day, putting in these mad hours. And what once was this whole, like, we were talking about outlets, and before we start shooting, about this whole like, okay, what is like a hobby that we can now call a hobby aside of close to work? I want to, and I love to paint, but it's to sit and just do Flash, knowing that I have other priorities with kids. That's, I guess, a factor. And I can't go home and be like, I'm going to whip out this sick traditional Flash sheet.
Yeah.
What I did to resolve this issue is I just condensed the overall canvas of doing such a big Flash piece to just a 4x6.
Yeah.
And then just doing one Flash piece a day and just working out that muscle, working out passion for painting Flash.
Yeah.
Because I struggled with that too, man. It was hard.
Yeah. And that was a bit of a problem for me, because I got to a certain point in my hobby career where I didn't really want to challenge myself. I wanted just to kind of operate in a comfort zone. Because I really enjoyed it. I was having the most fun just kind of leaning on my prior knowledge.
Yeah.
But that makes, content a little bit harder to do, because people want to see new and fresh things. And, if a new artistic idea comes up, people want to see their favorite YouTuber explore it. like slap chop, for instance, you know, was like
that was a big, okay, okay, yeah, the wave trend,
yeah,
right? Okay, so that's like the tramp stamp,
right.
butterfly tramp stamp, right? Slap chop,
right.
There was like this whole, or like dry brushing was huge,
Sure, yeah,
and here's like birth flowers,
yeah,
you know, in the tattoo world,
right.
So there's a lot of parallels.
And as an artist, you can choose to like lean into those things to make yourself more relevant,
because you know that's a hot topic.
Yeah, and sell more stuff, or get more views in my case. Or you can maybe do what I did, which is like be a little bit more stuck up about it and be like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do, just because I want to enjoy what I'm doing and not make it feel like a job.
Yeah.
And so the third era that I'm kind of in right now, maybe kind of getting out of a little bit, is I did a lot of research up front about best practices for YouTube. When I first got into it 10 years ago. But then it changes. So the thing about YouTube is it's a moving target, right? What is wanted and what people know and understand as best practices changes over time, much like any industry, I think.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's always evolving.
Yeah. And so I didn't pay attention to that much, like while I was just trying to have fun. And so now I'm really taking it seriously, and I'm trying to really think about YouTube, the game of YouTube, and what it takes to really have a lifelong successful YouTube channel. Like some of my favorite channels that have been around forever and have, you know, huge like amounts of employees. I don't want like a massive factory and tons of employees, but I want to be able to do this forever and enjoy it and have it be performant and stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out like, okay, what's modern YouTube look like? So that's kind of that's the third arc right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What were the influences at the time when you were first starting the YouTube?
Best practices for like small businesses.
Okay.
And so this stuff is still true to this day, but it was like more high level. And part of that was like, if you want a successful channel, even with like a niche subject, you want to very clearly define who your target audience is, so your viewership, and then make content for that person over and over and over again. And then when you develop this like tightly knit community that makes watches exactly what you want to make, then you can maybe sell them a product like a PDF or like a mini, and they'll really resonate with it because you really understand and have defined what that person is. Like you can even say how old they are, like what sex they are, what they're into, like what kind of things they want to do when they paint. And so that was a lot of the advice. But in terms of like channels that I look to, I love Linus Tech Tips, LTT. He's a kind of a tech YouTuber, but the way like he has grown his channel and runs it, and is just, you know, it's so consistent. Like that was really inspiring for me. And for a long time, I've always said that I want to be the LTT of miniature painting, but that's a bit of a pipe dream. There are other channels that are doing a much better job at like really scaling up in big ways. Like if you're familiar at all with the scene, the viewer, like Squidmart is a great example.
Squidmart, for sure,
of someone who has like just really found awesome success in mini painting. Has you know maybe like 6 or 7 or 8 employees and putting out videos, getting tons of views for our little niche. So
how did you get in contact? How did you get in contact with him?
With ML?
Yeah, with ML. Yeah, like Roman, opportunity to go hang out with him.
I've actually never met ML.
Okay. Oh, so this has always been like a virtual thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah. He came around. I don't know when. I think maybe he's been making videos for like 5 or 6 years. But I remember when he first started like posting on Instagram and making videos and stuff, and we had some conversations about best practices with YouTube and things that I had learned at that point. But me and ML have always had a very positive back and forth, and so maybe I helped him out in the beginning a little bit, and now he's returning the favor. Like he helps me out, like, and he gives me great feedback on my ideas. And
because you guys collabed in pieces. That's
absolutely,
been so awesome, you know.
Yeah. That's a nice thing about having a kind of a nerdy niche YouTube. Too. Yeah, it's like everyone's really friendly for the most part, at least in my experience. Maybe not everyone has the same experience as me, obviously, but
right. Again, this is all through your own lens.
Absolutely. For the listeners who don't know who Roman is, Roman's like he's a painter in the mini painting world. He's been around for so long and is so influential and has a very distinctive style. And when I met him, he was kind of like everything that I thought he'd be, kind of like this like monk-like, very meditative, very, very wisdom like focused person. But also he was more than that. He was also just like so welcoming and like just I didn't like need to, I don't know, pretend to be someone that I wasn't. Like he was just really kind of took me for who I was, and that was amazing. And like he invited me to stay in his house in Germany and go to a con together that was in Italy, and it was just so cool to have someone be so trusting, you know, of like somebody's never met before. And that was an amazing experience. I got to go and meet a bunch of great European painters in a beautiful venue and see like miniature painting really kind of stretched to its limits, you know, and like really what you can do.
Well, it's exposure to yourself as an artist, you know, exposure to that scene out there, because that's a whole different scene, dude.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it with tattoos. Same thing. It's like you get inspired by. Did you ever sit down before, I guess, meeting any of the peers or at cons or whatever, and try to dissect a piece, like a miniature piece, and just try to see how did they pull off this technique? Did you ever try sitting there and break down all kinds of, you do that consistently, right? All the time?
Yeah. We do a podcast called Trapped in a Plastic. Me and my co-host Ninjan, and we have a segment that does that specifically. We'll both share a piece that we love from someone else that we've seen in the last 2 weeks, and we'll talk about why we like it, and then we'll give feedback on the other person's as well, and kind of like have discourse about it. But whenever we go to shows, like Adepticon is probably the biggest one, there's always some large competition there, whether it's Crystal Brush, which is no more, or it's Golden Demon nowadays.
Crystal Brush.
I think Simon just didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's cool that we got Golden Demon now back in the United States. So that's really cool. But basically, there's some night during the con where like we'll start at midnight, and we'll just like prowl the cases for like literally hours, and make our estimates about who's going to place and who's going to be like a final cut, and like and why they are, and like in like what they're doing right and what we think they're doing wrong, and like all this stuff. So yeah, we look at and think about mini painting like a lot, like very routinely. How about you? Do you often do that, like breaking down like art from tattoo art, stuff like that?
Especially when you're trying to add a certain style to your books, like the way you want to pull off a tattoo. I did that, and you know what's cool is when I had the opportunity to go in and live, like see a tattoo be done at conventions. That happens. One of the live podcasts that I did, I was able to watch my good friend, shout out to Gunner, he was working on a back piece. You're not watching a lot of this, you're watching what's going on in the skin, because it's reacting, it's giving you, the skin gives you feedback the same way you see colors react on plastic. Like you see a blend, cheat code moment where you're like, okay, I discovered it. I discovered fire. You know what I mean? It's like, I pull that off slowly into my own style, because you got to really start implementing it, treading carefully. You know, you don't want to overdo something. And it's like, okay, can't take that back. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do. I'm able to do that with a lot of friends and seeing that. But online when I see a tattoo, you can just break it down, and that's in your own way too. Because let's say you think it's a certain like step process, it turns out to be something completely different, and that's that happens because everybody has their own system. That's huge. That's so big.
Yeah, you're right. There's definitely something different about looking at a finished piece versus watching the execution of it.
Right, the execution.
So it's funny you mentioned that, because I don't watch a lot of people like painting. Like when it comes to like what YouTube videos I watch, I don't like watch a lot of my peers' videos and how they're executing. I actually love to watch people make like terrain and like buildings for like our hobby, but not so much the miniature painting aspect. And it's been a while since I've gone to school and like gone like a class at a con or done a private coaching. The last one was with Roman.
Okay.
And that was like a different way to think about mini painting and kind of like open doors for me. But
you have to,
it's good to do that every now and then.
Drop your habits and literally start like step by step. He says, do this brushstroke.
It's painful to be back.
It's hard. You know?
It's because you get comfortable with what you're doing, and I get to, I've gotten to a place in my hobby where like I know that I can make a model look good if I have, 3 hours at least to paint something, and that's
you do a lot of videos where you compile that. You say I'm going to do the 10 minutes to 3 hours to 10 hours or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
That really does show, man.
Thank you.
If you go in and type in miniature painting, I mean, you'll see. You're right, like what you mentioned in the beginning about like what does it want to push to your face, right? You might or might not be in that line, but eventually somehow there's gonna be a rotation of painters and artists, or some sort of concept, or some guy giving you another tutorial, or some new up and comer that's like, but he just happened to have that viral. Because you'll hear even comedians say that, like, he didn't put in the work, he just went viral. That's tough.
Yeah.
Artists, some tattoo artists is like, who's this scrub, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be that way. It is a slap to some people's faces when they feel like they've been the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And all it takes is that spotlight moment.
Yeah.
And now you're in the radar, right?
Yeah. There's definitely some but also there's definitely some paying attention to the pulse of that community and understanding what they want. You know, it's funny talking about YouTube. People often talk about the algorithm like it's some like boogeyman, but the algorithm is just a representation of people, right?
Algorithm is at T1000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mastermind.
yeah. But it's not. It's just it's an average of what people want to watch, and people get so hung up with trying to follow the algorithm, not realizing that the algorithm follows them.
Sure.
And so when people go viral, it's often because they took a risk and and it clicked.
Bet
And
it all on black. Yeah.
yeah, and often beginners or people who are fresh and new, they're the ones that are more willing to risk things, right?
Mhm.
Whereas people maybe like me have found a formula that works and satisfies their audience and pays the bills and
That risk is a little second guess. One video performed well. I think you guys mentioned it on the podcast
oh, we're talking about yeah
all the time, right? You see it, but you're like, what? Like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? I'm sure you hit those walls, right?
all the time.
Yeah,
It feels like a mystery half the time when things do well and they don't do well. But other times it does make sense and there is things to learn. But yeah, it can be a challenge sometimes when you like put a lot of effort in something and it goes.
I can imagine someone like chiming in on this convo and just be like, for $30 a month, I can show you my course.
A lot of snake.
Yeah, there's a lot of little snake oil.
Yeah. People always think they have it figured out. But yeah, it really comes down to showmanship, it being entertaining,
Right.
packaging, knowing how to frame that thing, and knowing who your target audience is. And like, it's so interesting because like none of that is art, you know?
It's not.
It's all
presentation. Like,
yeah,
it's on the shelf at
yeah,
a grocery store. Why you want to buy these rice cake chips?
yeah.
They look good on the picture or whatever. Or why you want to go see a movie
Mhm.
because the poster's amazing.
The trailer is fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
The movie is trash, you know, or whatever, right? So it's like, it's hard, dude. It's a hard thing.
And people like to think this is a YouTube problem, but this is not a YouTube problem. It's been a thing in product design and for forever. Like, so it's funny to watch YouTube go through that cycle of like, okay, we're starting out. It's the beginning of a new platform. It's all cat videos and people like fixing lawnmowers or like whatever. It's very
DIY
like,
channel.
very DIY stuff.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a business, and you have like the whole Mr. Beastification of YouTube, and
That
like,
guy is,
he's wild.
it's insane, man.
I don't watch a lot of his videos, but every now and then I'll watch it, and like
I did the same, and I
they
get it.
stuck you in. Yeah, it's
I
like
get it,
holy
yeah.
cow! Like, this guy knows exactly what he's doing, and he's nailing it.
You also dabble in other platforms. You got the Twitch, right?
Yeah, well, not anymore, but I did.
I was
Twitch.
gonna say, did you stop that?
I did, yeah, because I really wanted to. So I had like a long-term collaboration with another YouTuber. His name is Eons of Battle.
Oh, yeah,
His name is Jay.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a Dark Eldar army collaboration. And I was kind of doing it at my pace, making a video once every 3 months, once every 2 months, and like kind of going all out and having lots of fun with the individual things. But got to a point where I was like, okay, there's not much time left in this collaboration. I need to kind of really get it done. And so I was making weekly content about painting Dark Eldar, and there just wasn't much time to do a Twitch stream at the same time. And so I was also I've never worked with an editor before.
Okay.
And so for that collaboration, I picked up an editor and started to kind of learn how to operate with someone else. And I'm still editing with her right now, even. And we're kind of getting like, it's difficult to explain your visual language, I bet, like to an apprentice, right? Like if someone's wanting to learn how you tattoo,
right.
So it's how do you boil that down into like something that's easy to understand? And so I'm learning how to do that. I'm learning how to make it as easy as possible for her to like take a stack of video files and make a Miniac video out of it. But it's tough.
You did all that though, right?
What was that?
All the production.
Oh yeah,
for the most part.
Oh, absolutely.
At one point, you had a few people help, and you thought maybe to get some of the workload off, right?
Oh,
focus, because I know your buddy Evan would help.
Evan helped me with the live stream.
Yeah, but you had another guy editing.
The guy edited the podcast, and he was also editing a thing I make called masterclass courses, which are like an online course form of painting.
Okay.
But up until, what is it, maybe like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I edited every video on my channel, which is like some 285 or something like that. So only recently have I started to leverage an editor. And I discovered that it wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay.
I was
really
really
was manageable.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like really kind of afraid of it, and I was worried that it would really kind of like, you know,
Constrict
remove the
yeah.
spirit of the content, make it not feel like a Miniac video. But I'm a pretty specific person, and I'm not afraid to ask for exactly what I want and ask for revisions. And my editor was cool with it, and so
Which is crazy because you just did give me a lot of freedom on this tat.
oh
I
yeah,
appreciate, by the way.
so yeah, I'm kind of curious about that because kind of feel like I'm not giving you that much freedom. I'm kind of very specific about what I want.
No, I mean we're throwing the idea.
Okay.
So that's transition and translation part, right? Between you and I, or
Yeah,
myself and any client. What's your vision? Because I'm like the filter,
right.
putting it on your skin. This is us collaborating. This is
Yeah,
a collaboration.
something like that,
process,
definitely,
right?
absolutely.
Given the fact that I kind of know a little bit of the background since, I've sat you in the chair, and knowing that you like to have things done a certain way, obviously, like you just said. And that goes back to branding and trademark
Absolutely.
or style. Like
Yeah.
an editor will have his own style to edit, and
Yep.
you have your own style that you want your videos to be
Yeah.
done. How do you bridge that gap? Right?
Yeah. And I bridged it by being very specific. So I was like,
Yeah.
I want a transition to look
list.
like this,
Right,
be
right.
this many frames long.
Yeah.
I need to color grade like this. And then when she understands the visual language, which she is getting better and better every single time, then she can riff inside of it and then do her own thing. And she's already been doing that. Like I have lots of shots that have my dogs in them because they've been in the office a lot lately. And she has lots of really cute, funny edits with Crusher or with Bullet, and I love it. And so
That's cool.
I might not have done that, but she does, and I think it's awesome. So yeah, there's definitely it's a little touch and go. Maybe more feedback at the beginning, but it's getting less and less each time.
Twitch kind of died off for you. You're just like,
I don't want it to. I genuinely love live
it's cool.
streaming.
Yeah, I'd chime in a few times, man. I'd go and check out the Song of Ice and Fire stuff.
Oh yeah, like the gaming stuff.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
If I put in this much time to stream, how worth it is it going to be?
There's definitely that. Yeah.
Part of it, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was definitely employing someone, and so there's a monetary bottom line for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing to me right now is just like, what is giving me a return on creative energy? Like if I can't remember who said it, but someone was like, if what you're doing is leaving you at a deficit, you will burn out at some point. It's not a matter of if it will happen or not. It's just a matter of when it will happen.
Right.
And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I do this job so that every day I'm not left at any kind of creative deficit or energy deficit. I want to do things that keep me filled up. And so like that gaming stream, it was difficult to coordinate people, to make sure I had terrain for the games and opponents, people getting there on time. Like Evan, part of my deal with Evan was that I got him dinner each time too. And so like getting dinner for him and figure out what he wants and stuff like that. Making sure we have the right assets for the stream, because we love doing thematic assets for like a fantasy game or a sci-fi game, or if it was Marvel, we had a fun like comic book, background and stuff like that.
Yeah, whether it was like was it Crisis Protocol?
Exactly, MCP, right. Yeah. And so it was just like it was a lot of there was software we had developed for the stream, so we could show like cards live on the screen without like glare from like a sleeve or something like that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of just work and churn that had to be done that wasn't playing games.
Is it worth the squeeze?
Yeah. And so I love playing games. I still play games like now. But I wasn't able to make that happen where I didn't feel like drained by the end of like, I don't know, like 6 months of doing it.
Yeah.
But I genuinely love doing mini painting live streaming, and I am definitely planning on getting back to that when I move into.
So I know you do the online courses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel conflicted of this? Kind of translates again with the tattoo industry. If I were to do like this live tattoo and it's like, hey, you're showing industry secrets, you should have people pay for that.
Okay.
And you're going live and you're literally breaking down what perhaps a live course may entitle or show. And do you ever kind of like, all right, I'm going to show this, but not too much because that's on my, Dutch's review or something, right? It's like, or you're not at all. Like
I don't think about that. But what I do think about is like, how do I segment these two products? So if you think of Twitch as a product and YouTube as that, or a masterclass course, they're targeting different people. So earlier we talked about how YouTube, one of the most important things is packaging and representation. And part of that is ideation. So what you make videos about. And a masterclass course, like it's edited on my course platform, would perform so awfully on YouTube, the platform. And so it's not fit for that kind of that kind of people and that kind of person. And so the way I justify it in my head is that, you know, I'm creating this front to end experience that has all the information you need to paint a display model from start to finish. Not just the paints I use and the techniques, but also the justification, the teaching of the techniques, and like literally everything you need is encapsulated right here.
Right.
Not what a YouTube video is. It's very singular. It's very one-off. It's very entertainment driven, but also partially educational as well. But yeah, so it's segmented. Like these things are for a certain person, and that's like a fragment of people who watch on YouTube. So that's how I feel about it. I don't know. How does that speak to you?
That may happen at times when the gatekeeping was big in the tattoo industry. You don't want to be showing off the, all right, guys, this is how you line. This is how you shade. This is what's going on. That is what an apprenticeship's for. But dude, like you said, YouTube had a lot of hit in so many industries. I mean, let's go learn shit. Let's go learn flooring. Let's learn plumbing or how to patch up a dry wall. And it's like, why not find? It reminds me of that Skillshare, where you can go in there and learn photography, editing, whatever. And there's like stuff for miniature painting.
Yeah.
Now you can go and use that as an out. It is a source, and it's a educational area. I mean, what's to say? Who is it? You know, the guy from Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
He once said that, hey, I can have Harvard education without going to Harvard now because of YouTube. I mean, give or take, obviously.
Yeah.
But think about it that way, from that kind of perspective, for a guy that did put in the time.
Yeah.
And then there's like, well, that's why you pay the thousands of dollars. We're going to go two Harvard attorneys, or two attorneys, one's from Harvard, one's YouTube University. And it's like, that's who wins the case. Ready, set, go. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So then the commissioning thing, the painting.
Yeah.
At one point, gave it a shot. You were doing that. I guess we never got the whole what made you want to start the channel. Did you ever talk to anybody about it, or you just kind of got a camera and started shooting?
I just got a camera.
We both started with that Lord of the Rings set back in the day. Yeah. I think that's where you and I were like, we both had that thing in common. My first exposure to miniature painting was...
Which kit was it? Do you remember?
It was the first Two Towers box.
Yes, with the Rohan.
Yeah, with the Rohan and Uruk-hai, dude. Yeah. I started with that, and then all the singles like Lurtz, single booster. Yeah. I painted them, didn't really game with them. I just wanted to paint them and put them on my shelf.
I think I was in a similar boat. We didn't play a lot of the games. The idea was to play the games, but we would spend like 99% of our time just painting the models and putting them together and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, so I got started when I was young, when I was 10. I had a little bit of a break maybe during college, maybe like for like 2 years, but otherwise I've been painting like consistently ever since I was 10.
Yeah.
Did the whole Lord of the Rings stuff. My mom's a huge fantasy fiend, and she loves Lord of the Rings, and so that's how I was able to get in, and how she was able to, like, you know, pay for some minis for me, because she liked the idea of it, and she actually helped me paint models in the very beginning. She painted with me, and the reason why I did YouTube as a job was because the engineering career is soul sucking.
Yeah,
and I was like, I want to do something where I have agency, and the choices I'm making feel like they matter. And so what better way to do that than starting a small business?
How did you acquire that Blood Angel box? Was that your first big commission?
Yeah. So I have a friend whose also name is Scott.
Okay.
And to this day, he does not paint miniatures, and he only employs people to paint his models. But he was like, hey, do you want to paint my army for me? And I was like, sure. Like that seems like an amazing idea to get paid to paint.
Right.
And the thing that kept happening, however, is that he would keep adding to the commission at a rate faster than I could finish things.
Yeah. And
so it would just get bigger and bigger and kind of get more and more demoralizing. And I don't know how you are when it comes to like art or just your hobbies, but like I like to like diversify and change things up and do different things.
I get it. You can have a style. Yeah. I'll just see, if you look at your painting and like, I guess my tattoos, you can see a person has a style.
Definitely.
Anybody across the board.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you want to be diverse. You want to be able to, you know, be well-rounded in a sense.
Or just experience new things.
Yeah, or just trust, to be able to do that. Yep.
Like paint a bust or paint a gaming figure or paint a display model.
The same 28 mil, go to 32, try a bust,
yeah, exactly. And so that was the issue, is that it wasn't just that I was only painting gaming figures. It was just GW, just Space Marines, just Blood Angels. So it was like nothing very else, specific, you know? And at the time I didn't know that was an important thing for me, but now I do know. It's just like it was too much of the same thing. And so the other thing for the YouTube channel was it's going to help me do something that I'm hyped on and really passionate about, which is YouTube, and that's going to help me carry through the end of this commission. And like in a matter of 6 months, I had finished that very large army commission and delivered it. And then I was kind of like free to do whatever I wanted with it. Then it was like single figure stuff.
Sure. I'll paint this one guy. Give me a
exactly. And so from there was I did a cool Orion for someone, the big wood elf character, and then I did at the time there were no, you know what a Night Titan is for 40K?
Yeah.
The big walker guys.
Right.
The other one that was kind of a nail in the coffin was someone had me do a Night Titan, which is a very large figure, and it was a conversion. They wanted it to be a Chaos Night Titan.
Okay, gotcha.
Because at the time there were only the good guy versions. And so it was like a huge conversion. I quoted him 40 hours of work. It took 40 hours of work just to convert the model, not even to paint it. And so I was kind of in over my head. But I finished it. I made a cool video out of it. Finished Orion. And I was like, commission painting is not for me.
I'm kind of, you had to really evaluate everything, though.
Yeah, it's like I want to have creative agency. I want to do what I want to do. And YouTube has this blessing of allowing me to make that choice, right?
Right.
With tattooing, I'm not sure how much this is true or not, but often, you have to go what people want, right? Like they want a certain image and stuff like that, and then you do it. So is there some way that you make it your own? Or like, where do you find the joy in it, really?
Yeah, I find the joy, the creation process, dude. Okay, tattooing is hard, man. I can sit here and tell you that it's a stressful thing. What's rewarding is what you create in the end. It's almost like sitting back and looking at a full figure that you painted, and just being like, yeah, that's the that's the business right there. I feel like when I think of the ideas and the inspiration starts to, like, the wheelhouse just turns, and you're just kind of like, yeah, this is gonna be cool. I'm already really excited, because it's true, you can not be excited to do something, so therefore should you do it or not? I can quote you on this where you said, if I have so much time to paint these miniatures, why not paint what I really want to paint, right?
Absolutely.
You're like, I only have this much time in life, like I only have this much until who knows. And I could sit here and say the same thing. I don't know when my back will give out, right? I can't tattoo anymore. My wrist is just locked. There's a lot of artists, tattooers that are OGs that have really rode this thing out till the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
Up to the point where all they were doing is their signature, because that's all they can pull. They can't do the crazy, but to have their signature was like their stamp, like a trademark. That was like their flash. Right. You know what I mean? And then they pass on, but they did it until the wheels fell off, man. And that's what I hope to do. Honestly, people have asked me, what number would you, because I would like to know, if you had a number of a retirement, when would you stop? Have you ever thought of like the retirement?
Yeah, definitely.
Like what year that would be, or would you just do less?
Retirement for me would just be, I don't care what works on YouTube anymore.
Right.
I'm just going to make whatever the hell I want to make. Still in the realm of the miniature hobby.
Not give up on that, but
not like make videos about like food or video games. Like none of that.
But the face, being the presence, right? On the YouTube thing.
I would still like be on the channel, but I wouldn't care about metrics or like
it would just do lo-fi music, no words. You're just there like painting.
No, because I love video making too. Like,
absolutely, you have a knack for that. Yeah.
Thank you. I love I love watching movies. I love dissecting them and thinking about them critically and artistically. And I would just make like what I'm excited to make. Like I love changing up the format, experimenting with new styles of video making, and also the hobby. And so I would just not care much about the metrics and just
not pay attention to that and just do freely.
Yeah. And also maybe not make a video every single week. Maybe I make a video and then wait 3 weeks to make another one. That's what retirement would be for me, which I feel like that is that's an important thing. It's if it's a behavior that you're going to do no matter what, that's a great opportunity to be like a YouTuber or like a self-employed creative person. It doesn't matter if I'm being paid to do this. I'm going to do this no matter what. And I feel about that, not just about painting minis, but also about making videos about painting minis. I would just do it anyways. But
you have so much you could dive into also. The 3D painting, the sculpting.
Game development.
The YouTube thing, do you feel like timing is everything when you first started to the pandemic time frame to being able to give yourself weight, the channel weight certification or credibility to be like, it's built and it's growing, and it's increasing. I was always curious about that because I know you said in 2018 you're like, felt like I hit it at the right time and I just didn't stop for it to that it became what it is.
It was absolutely less competitive
Mhm.
9.5 years ago than it is now. But I don't know if this is true, but a lot of YouTubers that I respect would say something like it is as easy to get into YouTube as it was however many years ago, because really the skills required to be successful at YouTube are the same skills that are required now, and that's skills of showmanship and packaging and allowing being able to relate to a body of people with your content and stuff like that. Um, all it just takes is a fresh spin and a fresh take on something, and then suddenly you're in. But it requires that creativity to do it. And so regarding timing, I don't know if YouTube's ever going to get oversaturated. And I feel like the same as with tattoos. It's like maybe there are more
It's like
people.
there's the capacity. Like, sorry guys, not letting anybody else
Yeah,
in.
right, exactly. If someone's got a fresh take on something and it becomes popular or becomes sought after, it's like suddenly they're in, right?
Right.
But it requires that creative legwork. It requires you to be able to it isn't just like you don't just like dream it up, right? It's like when you innovate, it happens because you're in that space and you're grinding and you're working and uh, like you're surrounding yourself with it. That's where sometimes, at least for me, creativity comes from. It's like I am involving myself in this world,
Indulge.
and
Yeah.
it comes to me because I am kind of steeped in it, and so you kind of guys can put in the hours, like no matter if it was 10 years ago or if it's right now.
Yeah. It kind of is what you make of it, right?
100%. Yeah, YouTube rewards blood, sweat, and tears, for better or worse.
It's so crazy that it's like it's like that in the Matrix. You know what I mean? That's like YouTube is like that overlord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I truly think it's the same with any small business. Like
Right. Absolutely.
you could put more time into marketing, into finding more clients, into maybe hiring an apprentice and growing like an empire if you wanted to, right?
Right.
But it's like, is that what you want? Like,
what does your family think about tattoos now that you've had that first? Because I don't think I've seen you when I first put. This is like the first visible one, right? Did they
yeah.
ever? I mean, I'm sure your mom's like, cool, or I don't know, like, did they ever have any kind of like a certain view towards a tattoo, like, or you getting a tattoo?
Yeah.
'Cause, obviously you have
Definitely.
siblings, yeah.
None of my siblings have tattoos.
So you're like the black shirt, yeah.
When I was growing up in their house, I wasn't allowed to get tattoos and stuff like that. And I was definitely like scared to show them I had one when I first had one, but obviously I can't hide this.
Yeah.
And they ask questions and they ask the classic questions like what does it represent or like why did you want to get it and things like that. But they didn't like disown me or they weren't upset with me at all. They were just curious. How big is your list? How long of a list do you maintain?
Dude, I can't go any past 3 months, man.
Okay.
I can't do anything. I just think because of family and life,
Okay.
that can happen at any minute. And I want to make sure I am able to step away and take care of that like a priority.
Gotcha. Okay.
My something happens, like daughter gets sick, son has an award ceremony, and I'm 3 months out. I can't just book. I know people that book for the year, and God bless them. I don't know how you maintain that.
Where
Dude.
do you like? How do you know where you're going to be?
What's
And like,
I can barely tell you, like, bro, like when I get back into town, I can tell you what I'm doing up to a certain point, and then same thing, I don't know. I like to be in control of what's manageable to you. I feel like that's what it is. And in my eyes, within 3 months is a pretty manageable thing. Because then if something was to arise, like let's say I all of a sudden I have to have a appointment I need to meet with like a family situation or whatever. Like let's say it's just related to the family or like a doctor's appointment or I've been doing the chiropractor a lot more. So it's like I got to get on those chiropractor appointments.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that if I do have to adjust the schedule, I can, and it's not like I'm. This is for December, and I'd just be like, dude, I don't know what's happening in December. Let's just wait. Let's chill, and then like let's. I do like to tell people, like with the response or requests, I'll be like, okay, let's start talking, and then let me know like availability, what kind of stuff works. which is wild because you would think as the artist, people should accommodate you. And I kind of, not to sound like in an arrogant way, but you said a little bit because if it's a commission piece and they're like, hey, can you finish it? What kind of time frame? So all of a sudden you get pressure. But they should be like around more so of like, hey, when are you free? And if you tell them the day and it's like, I can't that day. All right, then what about this day? I can only do Saturdays. Well, tell me off the rip that you can only do Saturdays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't be like, hey, what's your soonest availability? Okay, I'll tell you. Wednesday the 28th.
Yeah.
I can't do Wednesdays. Dude, tell me then, bro. Like, what helps for you? That's the thing. I'm sure with commissions, you were like, I don't know if they give you that pressure, but like, hey, can you knock this out and how fast?
I think if you want to make a career out of being a commission painter, you absolutely have to like reconcile with that.
Yeah,
like people are gonna, you know, need things by a certain time, or
there's games, there's tournaments,
or they're just excited about having a thing, right? And it's like if it takes, you know, like 1 month versus like 6 months, that excitement's gonna go away, you know. Sure. And so you definitely owe it to people to have accurate estimates for time, which is also why I didn't do commission painting, because I'm just not good at that. You know, I'm not a reliable person. You know, I can make that
dependable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can make YouTube videos like kind of on a clock pretty well, but
sure. Do you have that? You have like a kind of like a time frame for everything where you're organized?
Not right now. Right now, I'm kind of chilling a little bit.
Yeah,
little burnt out with like the whole weekly 40K Dark Eldar schedule. So right now, I'm kind of just taking it easy. I know how to get a video out and produced in a week, like no problem.
Where did that sprout from, the whole burnout? What was the overwhelming side of things, of, I guess, behind peeling back the curtain of, man, this is getting intense? You know what I mean?
I think it was just doing a lot of a thing that maybe I wasn't necessarily interested in doing over and over and over again. Like, I don't mind painting models from 40K, but I do not need to paint them week after week,
sure,
for like 3 months straight, you know, or whatever, 2 months, whatever it was. Like I mentioned earlier, I love variety. I love to mix it up. That's where I find a lot of joy in mini painting. It's just in how much availability there is for all kinds of different stuff. Mm-hmm. If I want to paint a model from the Dune universe, I can, you know, or I can go over and paint a fantasy subject, and it's fun to mix it up. And so to kind of like, and then there's this whole other thing with army painting, where you're not just painting the same kind of figure. It's okay, I'm painting a Reaver jet bike, and now I'm painting a witch. It's like, no, you're painting 20 witches.
Yeah.
And those are all pretty much the exact same model. And so I think it was just a lot of something that I wasn't super passionate about just for a long time in a row. And, you know, it was great for the channel. A lot of people really enjoyed this series and stuff. And so now I'm just taking a little bit of personal time just to kind of be a little bit more relaxed, kind of get to know my editor a little bit better and our communication better and stuff like that. And letting the channel kind of just float like along for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, you know, some YouTubers think that's incredibly taboo. And it will take some time to like make my channel perform it again. Like the hard part about YouTube is you can't just like take a break and then come back and expect videos to do as well as they were.
Right.
You have to ramp up for quite a bit of time. But I'm okay with that. You know, I'm not like suffering. I'm not like unable to feed my dogs and pay my mortgage.
Sure.
And so that's okay.
This Kickstarter situation.
Oh yeah.
Imagine with the tariff wars.
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with that.
I honestly, dude, when we were setting this up, I've seen a lot of companies right now that have had the Kickstarter, their Kickstarter issues. Yeah. What do you do, man? It's so wild.
There's a board game company named Stonemaier Games. They make like Wingspan.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of other games that I really, really like. But they sued the Trump administration for losses because they had a finished product like on the boat that just all of a sudden cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars more. That was totally unexpected. And so that could have totally been me. And like that would have, I don't know. I don't know what that would have done. That would have been awful.
You're done with that experience though, right? You're
100%, yeah.
No
I can't do that again.
No more. Did you feel like that was pretty tough on your everything, your health?
Yeah, definitely.
You're like deteriorating.
Yeah.
You're like crumbling to the bone.
I feel like this podcast or this video podcast is me just complaining a lot, but
no, but it's like it's the truth of like what it takes, what it's really like. It's like a real day in the life for people to understand. First of all, miniature painting is that can be a career path.
Yeah.
To have you on here, the fact that it's like you've been in the chair now, we started you from zero. That's another story I guess I never even highlighted. Like giving you your
all my ink is from you.
I felt it, dude. I felt the stress and the things you're going through, having the almost like face the music.
It's like a whole other job. What I don't realize is that you need to be able to continue doing the thing that's making you the money to afford running a campaign. And if you can't do that while also fulfilling a campaign, then you shouldn't do the campaign.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that, you know? So I thought that I could like, okay, I'm going to design all the models, design the brush box, basically get ready to push go. And then I'm just going to sit back and fulfill. And fulfill is it's going to be easy. I have people that I'm hiring to do it, and it was anything but easy. There were so many issues, and it took so much time away from YouTube, and then that kind of like paused while I was focusing on Kickstarter. It's like, you know, it's not I don't know if it's a full-time job, but it's like 20, 30 hours a week
Something
of time.
tough. Right.
And so you can't do that and also do other things. If I did it again, I would design a product and then I'd hand it off to someone to do literally everything else.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that'd be like, if I'd make money doing that, if that'd be a worthwhile endeavor. I got all the brush coffins.
That's cool.
Just from the initial order, there was like a minimum order quantity of that thing of 5,000. And we sold like half of them in the campaign, and the rest are in my garage right now. And they're just, you know, going out slowly through the web store and stuff like that.
Sure, sure. With all the tutorials, are you planning to work on it anymore?
I would love to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to have like guests over as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be cool to have like a school of, you know, different creative approaches. Like we don't need to keep seeing my approach to painting a model, because like, you know, the whole idea of a course is like my complete process with all of the description.
Paint like me, right?
Yeah,
In a sense,
like,
right?
Yeah, that doesn't change a whole lot.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So to have someone else come on and share their process and their approach in a very in-depth, comprehensive course would be very cool, and would like kind of diversify that online course.
Well, I love how you collaborated with John and Ben.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was sick, dude.
Yeah.
How did that conversation? Did you reach out to them? Be like, do you guys want to cover this?
Yeah.
You want to cover this? Do lighting? You do this, and I'll knock out.
I wasn't specific with them about what they covered in the course. I guess the only thing that I was specific with was I gave them a model to paint. You know, you have to paint one of the wood elves. But otherwise, they took it in whatever direction they wanted. So that's John focused more on beginner stuff. Ben went super hardcore, advanced, and talked about like core shadows and object source lighting and very crunchy, heady stuff. And it was cool because it was like a very different approach to how I paint models and how I think about it. And so people can get a different, a fresh perspective, which is important, I think, in creative hobbies. There's never one way to do anything.
Did you ever showcase that stuff at Adepticon? Did you guys, because I know you guys did the Tup Live, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That grew, dude. It's crazy. You have a hall dedicated to the podcast.
Yeah. Especially now that Adepticon has moved to a larger venues. Like the rooms are also now larger and more fancy too.
Organization, or like, how was everything with, I mean, was it pretty wild just to have these people pull up? Now you see the face behind the screen, the tangible feeling and reward to all this. At the end, I'll tell you, it's rewarding to finish a tattoo and you see what you create. That's your creation, what you guys planted. You're able to reap what you sow, you know? And
yeah. I think the coolest part about doing the live podcast show is the aftermath. And so like after the show is done, me and John will hang around and we'll hang around until everyone is gone.
Yeah,
and
that's so cool.
And they'll all come and they'll chat with us. And they'll tell us what the podcast means to them. And some people are like more talking about the hobby, but there are some people who are like military vets who say like how it helps with their PTSD and like really, really meaningful things. And that is so humbling, honestly.
It's crazy, right?
And so those are really special moments, more special than just doing the live show and seeing a big audience. Like really like hearing like how goofy things beyond, like mini painting.
Yeah, it's beyond people.
It's really cool. Yeah, that's a really special time for sure. This is looking rad, by the way.
Yeah, look at that. Well, you've never been to a convention, right?
Like a tattoo convention? I haven't. There was one in Minneapolis. I was definitely considering going to, but no, I have not.
Those are wild. But I mean, it's similar to like going to Adepticon and stuff. It's like booths everywhere, you know, but now you could actually sit and get something physically done.
So what's the breakdown of booths at a con? Is it like 70% tattoo artists, 30% like products and stuff? Or how does it work out?
Yeah, it depends who the promoter is.
Okay.
Because some promoter wants to just fill the booths, make the sales on the booths, and really isn't really out for the interest of the artist. They're not really looking out for us artists. They just want to fill the slots, get as many booths sold, and then as many tickets sold versus I want quality artists there. So everybody that attends this convention is going to have a great experience, a great time, a great turnaround. Yeah, that happens a lot too, man. It sucks. Like when you see those conventions that are just kind of, I don't know, something I wouldn't go to if I was a collector. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, I would say some are 100% artists, but those are the invite onlys.
Right.
Like, you know, you're going to go there just to see more hitter tattoo artists, or like it's more artist based, focused around the art. It's not, there's maybe a food vendor, but you're not going to find like essential oil booth or like
there's no one selling like tattoo guns or like
they'll have like
that.
builders. That's great. And but they're also the builder might be tattooing behind the booth.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then you can stop by. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I've been looking at your machines or whatever. I knew you were going to be at the convention. One guy is actually engraving his machines. He makes tattoo machines out of Damascus steel.
Whoa.
So trippy, dude.
Wait, like the needles or the
actual
handle?
frame. The old school machines are like a little bit louder and they're bigger, right? These are like considered pens. But he has the OG machines and he has I'll show you a picture of it, dude. His name's Aaron Kane. Super cool dude. He'll let you just sit there and watch while he's engraving and making this wild design. I'm underplaying it by saying engraving. He creates a sculpture out of this machine in Damascus steel. Wow. It's so wild. And Damascus steel looks amazing. It has all like the stripes and stuff in it.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, even in tattoo, there's a lot of that craftsmanship that I love. That's cool. Like you can appreciate a table. You know what I mean? And be like, yo, look at this table. Yeah. It's a gaming table, like the one you have out there is sick. Color Theory Crossroads. I know you have videos explaining like how you do pull some palettes. Yeah. But what about inspiration? Where does that spike from?
So I think nowadays I don't like look at specific pieces of art to get inspiration, but like I have like a color that I want to work with. Or it's like I imagine a setting that a character is in and I kind of work with that setting. So right now I'm painting these kind of like almost post-apocalyptic kind of punk-like, kind of like Tank Girl or Mad Max inspired characters. And so just like giving me a setting like immediately inspires me. I'm going to use warm colors. And then to like offset those warm colors, I'm going to use a little bit of coldness in there. Like I'm using mostly yellows, browns, and reds. And then like they have tank tops and I'm giving them like a white tank top. I'm shading it with blue because that will be a cold temp in this kind of sea of warm colors. Yeah. But it's not like a blue color that's smacking you in the face. It's kind of like a more subtly executed thing. So it's kind of like settings, but I haven't ever like pulled a card out with a color scheme on it and then applied it. That is a really cool exercise though.
You've seen that though, right? Where it's kind of like pull it and make this happen because you are working with sometimes colors that don't really match well. Yeah. So you have to be real strategic with it. Where are you going to place it? Yeah. That helps the tattoos.
Okay, I absolutely believe that. I think comic book artists also deal with that as well. Like where to place colors, like how do you frame a color, and it all like is composition.
Right, composition's everything, dude.
Yeah.
That's been an evolution for you, right?
Well, yeah. It's actually one of the main ways that I enjoy like creative expression right now in the hobby is coming up with really cool schemes and how to arrange them on a model and stuff like that. I did a challenge recently where I had my audience suggest me 3 color schemes that were 2 colors each. And they voted on them and they picked 3 combos. And I just used them on 3 models to see like how I would kind of stretch a color to be used in a bunch of different ways across a model, but not feel like it's actually two-tone, you know? And that was really enjoyable. Like you try out these weird things like using magenta for a Caucasian's skin shadow, which is like really kind of pinkish and kind of like a little bit unnatural, but you get a different kind of look and you learn something. So yeah, I really enjoy working with color schemes. How about you? Do you prefer to do black tattoos or do you prefer to use color?
I like color. I feel like I stuck to a certain palette that was really great. I was taught with primaries, creating everything from this kind of a palette. I wish I would have learned that the more structured by the book way, in a sense, where it's kind of like the palette. Yeah. I had to learn that really a lot of it was like trial by error. Yeah. Also kind of, seeing it in real life use and be like, holy smokes, like seeing this crazy like portrait artist and using those weird palettes like you were saying, or how to cast shadow with a certain palette.
It's funny you mentioned that. Like the video I'm working on right now, I'm doing like a mini painting Mythbusters video. Okay. And one of the, it's hard to call it a myth, but one of the claims that I'm testing right now is a lot of people think that you shouldn't highlight.
A misconception of something?
Yeah, maybe. But it's art at the end of the day, so you can kind of make your own choices. But
Right, right.
one of those claims is that you shouldn't highlight with white and you shouldn't shade with black, which is to say you shouldn't mix those colors into your midtones to get shadows and highlights. And so I'm painting 2 models side by side. They have all the same midtones, so an ochre pants, white shirt, Caucasian skin, but in every single one, the midtone is mixed with black or a color, or white for highlights, or an off-white yellow. And so you can see side by side how much like color choice of shadows and highlights impacts the look and how it makes it feel and stuff like that. And it's really cool to have that side by side.
Who taught you the color theory?
I taught myself.
Oh, you're self-taught?
Yeah, just really messing around and mixing. I mean, also watching videos.
Sure,
and
yeah.
Roman Lapat did some color theory with me and stuff like that. I love to make a science out of art, which doesn't always work very well. But color theory is a science, and so that was kind of just attractive for me just in the beginning. Like it's very crunchy.
I believe if you really cared or wanted to try to tattoo, I think you'd be able to do it. Watching you work with brush, it's a lot of touchy-feely pressure application, and the way you talk about it, I'm like, I think Scott would understand how to tattoo.
I appreciate that.
This is like pressure of the needle. Surface is non-porous versus the skin and stuff like that.
Right, the medium of like human skin, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, man, this would be interesting because I feel like you can translate that a lot.
Amber mentioned that she wanted to get a tattoo that was all red or all magenta, like a monochromatic, but not black, which is an interesting idea. But yeah, I think the hustle mentality definitely comes and goes for me.
Yeah.
Which I think is it's a good cadence. Sometimes you're really reaching deep and learning new things and challenging yourself, and other times you're kind of like just doing what you know. And it's good to feel like you understand what's going on. Did you just turn down the RPM?
Yep.
Why'd you do that?
The volts, I want it to slow down so that I can almost do like this kind of emotion, but give it like a stipple effect.
Okay.
So it's like creating this little guy right here. You see that?
Yeah. So you're skipping and making dots.
Right.
Okay.
So this is the concept here. So we have this. I can move it slower. I lighten it up, and I can build a little bit more.
The industry is in a very interesting place right now. The U.S. Fishery and Wildlife Department and them outlawing products from a certain country. So I believe most Kolinsky products come from Russia. It's a Russian rodent. So part of it is where it comes from. Part of it is the humanity of it, right? So it's not like they're like catching a Kolinsky sable and like keeping it in captivity and plucking hairs out of it. They chop the whole tail off. So it's like that's rough, right?
That's rough, yeah.
So it's like, what's the ethics there? So that's part of the conversation. The current conflict with Russia is definitely a motivating thing, and so they're becoming more and more challenging to find. And if I could, I would absolutely convert in a heartbeat if I could find a synthetic alternative that operated the same. And it sounds like there are some companies that are kind of figuring it out.
Miniature painting, do you feel like that taught you patience at a certain point?
I'll mess up eyes like constantly, and so I don't get too frustrated. So maybe inadvertently it has given me some patience for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just inherently, you're painting that thing for so long, and it's so damn small. Just like, why would a small thing take so long to paint? I think one thing that's unexpected for me when it comes to mini painting is like a very popular genre of music is metal music. And I have no idea why that is.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that necessarily, but it really is a common theme. I just made a new video where I sat down with a beginner.
I saw that.
Taught them layering. Got a lot of comments on that video saying like, I'm gonna watch this video for years to come. I'm gonna send people to like learn layering to this video. And like, those are the great kinds of evergreen videos that I love making. And also just because it's so approachable and people can learn from it. It's always so difficult to know if like the thing you make is actually educational, if it's actually teaching someone. I have zero formal training in education, like how to like teach someone a thing. I don't know any of the science behind it. I just explain it like I would want it to be explained to me.
I wish I would have known this when I started.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. Like I will explain everything I'm doing like all the time. And it's like overwhelming sometimes because it's just a lot of thoughts and they're very rapid fire.
A lot of information too.
A lot of information, yeah. But like hearing that stream of conscious thoughts is, I hope, helpful for some people because, there's a difference between I applied yellow here to I applied yellow here because there's a neighboring color that complements yellow and it's smaller than yellow, and I want yellow to be a more important color, and like all these things. And
right, the purpose of something.
yeah, there's a lot that can go into it sometimes. And that's always been my thing, you know. I never want to like withhold information and like be exclusive because I'm withholding it. I want to train the next Slayer Sword winner for Golden Demon or whatever the award may be.
What is your thought on competition? You make peace with this idea that I'm gonna compete.
I allow myself the freedom to change my mind in the future. At some point, I will want to explore competitive painting again. Probably not Golden Demon, but there are other competitions I would love to be a part of.
Yeah.
The Nova Open has one called Capital Palette.
That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that seems kind of like the spiritual successor to Crystal Brush, which is like a not a manufacturer specific competition where you can bring any model you want to paint and show off your skills. And it's not also open, so there is an overall winner, but there aren't like gold, silver, bronze for categories. You're graded against a rubric. And it's a pretty harsh rubric. So getting a gold is still quite a challenging thing, but it's not as cutthroat as Golden Demon or the old Crystal Brush might have been. Now that I think of it, I did compete at Monte San Savino, which was that Italian convention I did. And that went well. I got gold in my category. But that was also an open system. So other people got gold as well. It wasn't like a super competitive. I don't think there was a specific rubric the judges had. They were just like really great painters who were the judges, and they were deciding,
that's cool.
You know, given the category and the goals of the category, are you a gold, silver, or bronze? So it wasn't like a massive triumph, but it was still cool to be recognized like that.
How long were you out there for?
Probably like a week. I think it was like a couple days in Augsburg, Germany, and then it was like 3 days in Italy.
How many hours would you say you consume of YouTube?
Yeah, I want to know, bro.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing. It's like Love Island. I like it, but I have phases. Like I don't watch vlogs right now, but like when Casey Neistat was at his peak, I loved his videos. It's like everyone else. They were awesome. They were like genre defining. They looked simple, but the execution probably was more difficult because he was making one a day for 3 years straight, and like holy cow, that's reps. That's insane. But yeah, I don't know why, but I really just want people to understand where I'm coming from. If I can imagine someone having a comment in my video that's a question, like I want to already have an answer for it. And so if the question is like, oh, why are you struggling with this thing? Like I want to explain where the struggle might come from. But you kind of have to balance that, right? Because you can't just like talk about hardship all the time,
right?
Because that gets exhausting as a viewer, and I totally understand that. And so it's like you need a nice mixture, being realistic and honest with your audience, but also doing what they came here to watch you do, which is be educational, maybe a little bit humorous, showmanship painting and stuff like that. You can't like take that for granted. In a perfect world, I'd have a month planned out, and it'd be a month ahead of time, but that is rarely ever the case. I have a list of video ideas that I really enjoy, or like I like the idea of, and I'll probably pull from that. The format, like I mentioned earlier, YouTube is a very format-heavy platform. Mm-hmm. The format of having a beginner sit next to me and teach them a thing is an idea that has a lot of legs, and there's like a million ideas I could do with that. And so I'll probably do a couple of those, and then a couple that are kind of more of like my normal style, where I have a written script and it's kind of more narrated and stuff like that.
So you see it on YouTube, where, like you said, people are using AI to run a whole business.
Yeah, doing all kinds of stuff. I'm not like anti-AI necessarily. I don't know if I can like handle learning a whole new thing and like slowing down the process, you know? It's like I kind of have it figured out. I know how long it takes. I know what time frame it fits into. And in order to like learn new technology, I have to slow down again.
Yeah.
And so there's part of that unwillingness to slow down, but it is important to like, you know, every once in a while, stick your head out of the water and be like, what's going on? What tools are available to me that I can use to help me out in my process, slow down a little bit, and then hopefully come back and be faster.
All right, let's clean this up.
Yeah, nice.
So I guess for a final, we'll tie a knot on it. What advice would you give anyone, just in life in general? What would that be?
Like creative industry advice, I'd be like, I think you should live your life like talent doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can will so much into existence with just your effort, right? And I think dwelling on what you don't have is just like can be the death of your creative career. So operate like talent doesn't exist and it's not important, and that if you put in effort, you can achieve anything you want, and you'd be surprised what you can make happen for yourself.
Right. That's sick. Where can people find you? Where can people see your work? People that don't know of you, they can check out your art.
My YouTube channel, youtube.com/Miniac, is the greatest spot to find me. And then I have an Instagram that's also linked from there. And that's the best spot to see like pictures of my painted models and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be slideshowing all your work.
Thank you.
Just to kind of be like, this is what it's about. And at the same time, show the tattoo that we finished on your arm and what we have thus far.
Yeah.
But with that said, guys, this has been Tattooing Out Loud. Thanks again to Scott for allowing me to shoot and also add on to his arm. Appreciate you, dude. Thanks.
Appreciate you too, man. This is awesome.